I want to see him go somewhere else. Everybody talks about it. Colin Cowherd talked about it yesterday about how it looks weird for people to be in other jerseys. Everybody says it would be weird to see him in another jersey. Well, you know what? Peyton Manning was the Indianapolis Colt. He has a statue literally in this city that's bigger than any other statue in the city. Like, I'm sure there's humans in the past of Indianapolis that have done things here. Okay, I'm sure there's maybe the person that founded this place, probably whatever, probably a pretty important human in this. Statue is smaller than Peyton Manning's statue. He goes to the Denver Broncos, wins the Super Bowl, breaks some record. If you ever see a picture of him on anything, it's him in a Denver Broncos jersey. So the fact that people say, whoa, it doesn't look right, it's like literally the closest example or the closest person that we could compare him to, comps is what they call it in the real estate world, would be Peyton Manning. And he looked just fine, had all the success in the world, was at the end of his career, and ended up at a team that gave him the keys to the operation and said, here you go.
At this point, like you said, it does feel like he's going to go back because this would be a really weird way to go out.
This would be worse than the decision by LeBron, by the way.
A thousand times worse.
If he just toyed with New England like
just
this.
trolling him the whole time.
Terrible.
It'd be terrible.
Savage. Absolutely savage. But this would be considered worse than the LeBron situation.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely. He strung us along for, 3 months now? This would be brutal.
You know, Cleveland people are very loyal and diehard fan base or whatever, and they burned LeBron's jersey when he left, but when he came back, he was welcomed. Boston, I saw what happened with Adam Vinatieri every time we came back, right? Before the game started, there was very nice to Adam Vinatieri, and Adam Vinatieri didn't troll, didn't do anything like this. He just was offered a substantial amount more money somewhere else. He was like, business-wise, I got to go do this. Now, granted, he goes on to win Super Bowl with the Colts his first year there. That's what happens when you're Adam Vinatieri. But whenever he was there and it was in between the whistles or whatever when the games had started, the things that were being said to him by massholes were outrageous. This is the guy that did after the tuck rule, the kick there, a Super Bowl winning kick, an AFC championship winning kick, and the massholes gave zero damns about any of that. If Tom Brady leaves after all of this and he has to go back and play up there, it would be awesome. It would be it would be must-see television to just hear what's being said by all of the wicked, awesome folks up there or whatever it is.
I mean, we're ruthless. It's part of it, you know?
A savage group.
Well, they burned his jersey after the playoff game, after the playoff loss. Imagine if, he actually does leave.
Yeah, and, our masshole here, he said that it doesn't matter if Tom's gone because we got Bill Belichick.
But imagine if Tom comes back now. I mean, think about petty players. Tom said a couple of years ago, or last year, I'm the baddest mother lover on the planet. Everyone's been saying that the dynasty's dead. He comes back all of a sudden.
He did say that in the locker room, right? That got leaked out, which, by the way, he never denied, right? There was never, ever an open, nobody, I wonder if somebody ever asked him, well, hello there. Utilize the promo code PAYTHEBILLS and get $20 off your first order from SeatGeek. Now, back to the magic. Hey, there was a story from an equipment manager that you walked into the equipment room after a game and you said, I'm the baddest mother on the planet. Is that accurate or not? What Tom would say was, in the heat of the moment, sometimes you say things,
He'd give that head nod he gave right there on that IG video.
Tom Brady is playing this thing perfectly, as did Mookie Betts, if that kid's robotic arm can get back together and not ruin the trade, as did Andre Iguodala. Players are making good business decisions at this point, and fans are going to hate it. The more and more this happens, the more and more fans are going to hate it. Absolutely hate it. Look what Antonio Brown, there's a lot going on with Antonio Brown and has since then. He forced himself out of Pittsburgh, forced himself out of Oakland. And now, granted, it did not work out with New England due to terrible allegations against him and everything like that. And what has happened since has been very sad as a person who's a fan of watching him play football. But he forced himself out. Lev Bell forced himself out. Melvin Gordon tried to force himself out. Ezekiel Elliott held out and got a contract. Fans are going to hate this as players continue to do this. And to be honest, the blueprint is coming from Tom effing Brady, dude. It's insane to me.
Well, and we always talk about, if you get to that position, you mentally need to think that you're the best regardless. So if you see all these guys around you getting this money, why would you shortchange yourself? I'll take $75 million less than that guy's getting.
My wife makes $100 million a year. I understand that, but that doesn't mean that I shouldn't. I'm happy for her. I'm happy for our kids. I love our life, but I've thrown a lot of touchdowns. Also, knock, 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 knock. Here's 6 Super Bowl rings.